Yo.
Hi, Internet.
Hello. How are you? Oh, bugger. We have a podcast to do. I'm JD.
I'm me.
That's him. All right. Podcast on Influence, number 18. Just got done with a quick cast. Time to elaborate on some shit. Mountaineers play tonight. Woot woot. Gonna upset Kentucky.
Unlikely.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna upset them. It's gonna be amazeballs.
And those wonderful idiots who go to WVU will burn down their town and then not make it to the national title and look like a bunch of fucking morons.
Probably.
As usual.
But hey, I'm not one of those idiots that lives there. I'm just an idiot that roots for them.
Anymore.
Good call, but I never burned anything when I was there. So. Mountaineers are gonna win. I can't wait. Oh, jeez.
I just.
Okay, guys, troll me again.
He gets upset when someone calls Batman a pansy.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I always go with the theory of let haters hate because the more you fight them, the more stuff they'll.
I'm a person who I gotta stick up for things I believe in. It's like a friend of mine was saying, there's no way, there's no chance in hell at all, zero chance. The Mountaineers are winning tonight. There's always a chance. That's the beauty of sports. You know what I mean? There's always a chance. Might be a 1 in a million shot, but at least there's a chance.
There's a chance. I don't know. It's all well and good. It's all right, but you don't let the haters hate and just let it go, because the more you fight back, the more trolls troll.
All right, Mountaineers. The reason why I think they can, if they play, Kentucky plays the way they played the last two games against Cincinnati and Hampton. Cincinnati, they only beat Cincinnati by like 14 points. They didn't destroy them. Cincinnati is not a great offensive team. They're pretty good at defense. I'll give them that. But they're not a great offensive team. They're a horrible defensive rebounding. They actually got all over the boards against Kentucky. Mountaineers are going to destroy them on the boards tonight. Mountaineers are I think they're number one in offensive rebounds in the country this year. They're also number one in turnovers forced, points off turnovers. The only thing that's going to give West Virginia an issue is the fact that West Virginia can't shoot, so they can just clog up that paint. That's going to be a huge issue tonight, but we will see. A lot of Kentucky's advantages come from their defense. They get blocks and get runouts for dunks and layups and three-pointers off of the late transition, or they get steals for dunks. That's most of what they have, or they get offensive rebounds and putbacks. I think a lot of what WVU does offensively and defensively will limit a lot of those options. So it'll be a tight game because of that.
I will agree that it'll be a tight game, but I still think Kentucky's going to.
I think WVU is just a little better offensively. That's where I think they're going to have the edge.
Yes, but are they going to be better offensively tonight?
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I need to just put oven mitts on so I can't scratch myself.
Yeah, you're going to be bleeding a little bit shortly.
Yeah, I'm done. Okay, I'm done. For now.
No, it's not.
I'm done for now. Okay. Here's how I look at it. Defense, it's a wash. They're both really good at defense. Okay? WVU's better at full court press because they force a lot of turnovers. Kentucky's better at protecting the hoop and blocking shots in a half court setting. So it's a wash. One's better at one thing, one's better at the other, and that's why I think it's a tie. Offensively, I think WVU's a little bit better because they're more experienced. Depth, with any other team in the country, Kentucky has a depth advantage. Against the Mountaineers, they don't. Mountaineers play 12 deep. Kentucky plays 10 deep on their bench. Most teams can't handle all the depth that they throw out there. The Mountaineers are one of the few teams that can. So that's a wash. So advantage offense and rebounding. I think it's about the same, but I think WVU has a slight advantage. The only issue is athleticism. their athleticism is way more than our athleticism. That's where I give Kentucky the advantage, and that's going to be the determining factors, how much their athleticism plays into it. If they're just so athletic to get every offensive rebound and put back, they're going to kill us. If they block every shot, they're going to kill us. But if we're able to negate their offense or their athleticism by getting steals, by keeping them off the boards, limiting a lot of aspects of the game of basketball, that's going to be our advantage. So, nothing.
Kentucky by 5.
Mountaineers by 4. I do want to note this. Huggins is 8-2 against Calipari. He hasn't figured out. A couple years ago, Kentucky was picked to destroy us. To destroy us in 2010. And we ended up beating them. So, we ended up beating them bad. We destroyed them that game. The only reason that game was an 8-point game, we were up 25 with like 4 minutes left. They just hacked it. They just fouled every possession after that to put us on the free throw line to give themselves a chance. So, we only won by about 6 or 8 on that game. But we were up by 25 with about 4 minutes left. And they just kept fouling and fouling and fouling us. So,
that's part of the game.
It is part of the game. But it's kind of, for the last 5 minutes, that's a bitch way of playing. I was really mad about that. Because the last 5 minutes of that game took 45 minutes. And I would just want to go out and drink and celebrate. And I had to wait to make sure they won.
That's part of the game.
Okay. Do you want anything else about the game? It's either going to be Mountaineers going to keep it close and then win in the end, or it's going to be a blowout. Kentucky will not win a close game. They will not win a close game, I promise you. Either Mountaineers are going to win by 5 or 6 if it's close, or Kentucky's going to beat them by 15 or 20.
Well, Kentucky has yet to beat the spread this season.
Yeah, so what's the spread of this game?
I don't know what the spread is, but they're .569 on beating the spread for the season this year. That's the Vegas bullshit.
Yeah, little side on that. I actually made guys I work with. I got a cut of this too. They asked me what I would take as a spread because the first game was Hampton, and they were picked to win. The spread on that was like 36 points, and I was like, take the under on that. He's like, are you serious? Taking the over on that? I'm like, no, take the under. He's like you're serious? I'm like, if I'm wrong, I will refund you half of what you lost. But if you win, you gotta give me 10%.
That's fair.
Yeah, it was very fair. And it was way under. I think it was like 20. They only beat Hampton by like 26, 27. So it was way under. And then again, you had Kentucky versus Cincinnati. And the same thing. He asked me, well, what would you take? Would you take he did the different on this, the combined points of the game.
This thing is not letting me do what I want to do.
So he did the combined points, take the over and under. The line on the combined points is 119.
Mm-hmm.
I said under. He's like, no, Kentucky will score way more than that. I'm like, no, it's going to be about 115. No, they haven't. Well, what do you mean by the spread? There's different definitions of the spread. The spread being the points differential, or the spread being combined points. And that's the spread. You know what I'm talking about?
No, the spread in football is
okay. Like Denver plays
Boise
Seattle.
Scheduled to beat Oregon by 30 points. Do they beat that 30 points? Hell yeah! Always take Boise on the spread.
Okay, so that's the spread.
That's the definition of the spread.
Okay,
I'm not talking about the total spread. I'm talking about the spread.
Okay, I'm talking about the over/under on the second. The first one was the spread.
Now you're talking about the over.
Yes, the second one was the over/under. And he asked me if he should take the over or the under, and I said the under because they're only going to get about 110, 115 points. And this guy was right on the money. They had 115 points that game.
Yeah,
but they won't get the 119. They're not good enough. Neither team is good enough offensively, and both teams are too good defensively.
The final score of this game is going to be in the 60s somewhere.
It's good. I will give it 49-55.
It'll go into the 60s.
If it's in the 60s, Mountaineers won't win. Well, actually, my Mountaineers a little better offensively, so they might get a hot night. So we'll see. Okay, anything else about the W game?
No.
You want to make a bet on it?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll try. Come on, your odds of winning are astronomical.
Nah, I'm not betting.
Okay.
I got a little mouth to feed.
It doesn't have to be money.
Can't play with money.
It doesn't have to be money. It could be like a movie.
Movies cost money.
Yeah. Surprises from the weekend. You know, surprises you liked. We talked about Georgia State.
I'm not surprised they lost, but it makes me sad that they did because I really like their story. I really did. Father and son, coach and player. I don't know. I'm a sucker for bullshit like that. I don't follow a lot of basketball, so I get into the stories more than I do the game.
What was the other one? There was a. I don't know if it was this.
Dayton lost.
Oh yeah, Dayton.
That
made me sad.
That was surprising.
God, they were up by 10 with like 5 minutes left.
Doing so well.
Yeah, and
I always like the Dayton Fly.
Dayton, Davidson, Butler. Those 3 teams are like those mid majors.
I don't care about the other two.
Butler, I love Butler. God, they play
like
such
the Flyers.
Assholes. They're so good. They play like assholes.
So
I love it. Butlers, I love the way they play. Davidson's where Steph Curry went to school. That's why I have an affinity for them. These are one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
So
you could have said that. That would have been a nice segue into your.
This helps.
Well, yeah, because it's cool and your pores are opened up because of how warm it is, and then the cat dander's getting in there. That's what's causing your issue.
Ncaa State upsetting Villanova. Man, you know I'm throwing this out there, and the internet, you're gonna hate me. Villanova is one of the most overrated teams every year. Them and Xavier just overrated every damn year.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone talks. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's their colors. The colors of their team. Somehow they get. And I'm not saying Villanova is a bad basketball team. I mean, they're definitely top 25 easily. They just get talked up like they're like the best thing since sliced bread, and they're never on TV, so they don't get recognition. Every time I see Villanova in a tournament, they get ousted before they're in the Elite Eight or anything. Every year, it's consistently.
I'm sure some stat master out there will go back out there and find 100 fucking reasons why they should be rated as high as they are every single year. But we live in a "what have you done for me lately" society, so I can give a shit less about your legacy from 50 years ago.
Now, understand, like Xavier, I give them a little bit more of a pass because they're in a smaller conference. And I understand that. That's fine. You get a little bit more of a pass, so that they're in a smaller conference. I get it.
Well, you win the conference, you're automatically ranked higher.
Yeah,
that's pretty much automatic. Except for Duke. I don't know why they got a number 1 seed.
Because they're a really good team, that's why.
Yeah, but they lost their... Anyway, I'm not going to get into that.
BU, the Virginia coach of Virginia, coach of the year.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Don't really care either way, to be honest.
Well, everyone on ESPN is like, no, it should have been Calipari.
No, if you want to give someone coach of the year, and he had... Yeah, why are we voting on coach of the year yet when the season's not technically over?
The reason why this is why they said they do it before all this, before the tournament ends. Because if you wait till the tournament ends, most people are just going to be first of the moment and pick the coach who wins the tournament.
I'll put it to you this way. If, for whatever reason, Calipari goes and takes these kids to 40-0 and takes a national title, coach of the year, hands down, no offense or buts about. Had it been another team coming up, not so much. I would have to go with the guy who made the most improvement between last year and this year, because that's coaching. Just it depended slightly on the recruiting class and how many of ESPN's top 1 million fucking high schoolers.
I disagree with that statement completely. I will agree that Calipari is a pretty darn good coach, but he's not the coach of the year this year. Because as good, you said it, you said the reason why earlier, as good as that team is, talent-wise, and they've yet to beat the spread this whole fucking season, how will they not beat the spread? They're supposed to be the best team, bar none. They should be destroying the spread. They underachieve. I don't think he gets as much out of his players as he can. What? I guarantee this is what's going to happen. He may not lose the Mountaineers, but he will lose and not win. He will lose and not win, and somehow it's not going to be his fault. It's always that way.
I did 4 brackets. 2 of them I have Notre Dame winning. 1 of them I have Wichita State, and then the other one I have UK.
Now we're gonna get to that here in a minute about Wichita State, but I just think first off, the voting for this is bad. Here's why. Guess how many times Mike Krzyzewski's won Coach of the Year?
According to you, it's either going to be not enough or too many. You're not going to find a middle ground on that. You're either going to be not enough or too many. Not enough.
Zero.
Not enough.
Zero. He is bar none the best coach in college football, basketball.
36 years?
Roughly. He's never won coach. He's won the ACC Coach of the Year only 3 times. Explain that one to me.
How many Team USAs has he taken to gold medal status? I think that should come into
3.
it.
Well, he also. It's not just.
I mean, it's not that you're going to ask a guy who sucks to coach the world's greatest basketball team every year.
You tell me, buddy. So that's how
Who
bad.
knows?
I don't. It's people in the press. It's people in like the media.
Was a dude from Virginia mailing people checks or something?
No, the dude from Virginia is the reason why he's picked because he wasn't picked to be a top contender or a top team, and he went 30-4 before the tournament. That's why.
Neither was Dayton, but there's it was Georgia
Dayton
State, and they got there.
Well, no, Dayton was okay. Well, Dayton wasn't 30-4, and he's 30. They were 30-4 in the ACC, which is one of the better basketball conferences. See, this is where I think Kentucky loses an edge because the SEC is not a very good basketball conference. I can name you the
win that hands down this year.
Who?
Notre Dame. Didn't they win the ACC? Isn't that what got them there?
Not hands down.
They won it.
They won it. They won it.
They won it. Correct. They beat Duke.
Okay, well, Duke also beat them by 40 points earlier in the season too, so it's kind of a wash.
What have you done for me lately?
I understand that, but Kentucky loses points because of the SEC. The SEC is not a good basketball conference. The best team they played this year was LSU.
That's his buzzer going. You have gone way off topic.
Oh, sorry.
That's my official spaz buzzer, and when
spaz.
he does that, that means you are way off topic.
I'm talking about basketball. We're still on Kentucky. The SEC is not a good basketball conference. One team was ranked all year. One team, and that was Kentucky. No other team was ranked this year. The Big 12. If they had played in the Big 12, they'd have lost 3 games this year. They'd have lost to Iowa State because they got 3-point shooters at the post position. So that opened the lane up immensely, and then it eliminated all their advantage on defense. They'd have lost to Baylor because Baylor plays a zone, and Kentucky can't shoot threes. And they probably would have lost the Mountaineers once. I think they probably destroyed them once, but they'd have lost the Mountaineers in Morgantown one time.
Yeah.
But the Big 12, Texas, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas, Mountaineers, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. There are 7 teams right there that were ranked this year. 7. And I'm probably missing one. I can't think of right now. I know I'm missing one. But 7 teams off the top of my head I can think of that were ranked this year when the Mountaineers played them. SEC? No. So, sorry. I didn't get into too much of a tangent there. But anything else about surprises of the weekends? I did enjoy all the upsets. Oh, for the 4th time in the history of the tournament, a 5 did not lose to a 12. Kind of disappointing.
I find it surprising that after the round of 32, there were no brackets left in ESPN whatsoever at all. Like everyone got.
I thought there was one.
No, they got busted after the round of 32.
Okay, you said before.
No, Friday night there was still one. Saturday morning there
one.
was one active bracket left.
Yeah.
And then it got busted on Saturday.
I think it's because they had Dayton beating. I think so.
I picked Dayton. I just didn't pick UAB. So
oh no! It was Villanova losing to NC State. That's what did it.
Yeah.
Now I remember. That's what did it.
To believe that there was 20.
Well, time out.
That
bracket. Once you played Sunday, like he lost like half the games on Sunday too. But that was the game that ended his.
But the funny thing is there were literally 226 people out there that picked UAB to win. 226 people out there picked perfectly and picked UAB to win.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's insane.
I did say to you.
Through the 64. That was through Friday morning.
I want you to clarify this. Did I not turn to you and say if it was anyone else, I would pick UAB to win this game? I was on the podcast last week.
Well, the problem is I picked UAB to win in one of my brackets, but apparently I screwed up somewhere else. So it is what it is. Needless to say, rich fucker, what's his name? Really rich
Warren
fucker.
Buffett.
Yeah. Your money's safe this year, but next year I'm coming for it. I'm coming for it.
We're gonna do some deep level shit analyticals. We're gonna spend a whole year and we're gonna get it.
I'm gonna get my billion back.
We're going to both make a bracket. And we're both going to take the opposite options of what we think we're going to get.
Yeah, it's only going to take us 1 quintillion tries.
Yeah.
We can knock that out in
A year.
Yeah, it would take a month.
Well,
just to
we got to
set
take a
the
year
bracket.
just to predict who's going to be in the tournament.
Maybe we can have IBM's supercomputer fucking like.
Oh man, that would be. I don't even.
I don't think it should count. I think we should let the supercomputer pick a bracket to see what it comes up with. But I don't think Bill Gates should get the billion. I don't think Bill Gates should get the billion if it wins.
I would love to be a guy who gets paid to do this and analyze the last 40 years of the tournament, and based on that, see if there's some kind of consistent variable that leads to upsets.
Here's what I think is hilarious.
We're doing 20 minutes on this topic. Wow, you're talking about basketball for 20 minutes. I'm so proud. That's my friend.
Actually, if you go back through the entire podcast, I guarantee you, for at least 10 of those minutes, I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder what the inside of a gun tastes like.
Yeah,
but anyway,
that's what,
the funniest thing is all these analysts, and I don't care if it's CBS, Yahoo, NBC, ABC, ESPN, Fox, pick a network. I don't even give a shit. They'll sit there and they'll pick these brackets and they'll talk up these teams that, okay, this is who's going to win. This is why it's going to happen. Da, 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 on down the line. Billis, you're on. I'm putting you on the clock, you prick.
Billis.
And then when it doesn't pan out the way they said it, there's an excuse. They don't say, I screwed up, I didn't see this coming, or I was wrong.
There's no accountability.
It's a bullshit fucking excuse. Well, we didn't know his mother died at the beginning of the day, so that changed everything. Just shut the fuck up. Just admit that you did not pick appropriately. Just say I was wrong. That's all I want to hear.
It's okay. Everyone's wrong.
I just want to hear that.
And
bald
especially
guy,
in this case, this
who's
bracket.
the bald guy on ESPN with the glasses and well, he's not completely bald, but he's got that nasty bald with the glasses.
The guy who
they only bring him in. He's like an expert on. He's like their John Clayton for basketball.
He's a bracket talker.
Yeah, they're John Clayton for basketball.
What is his name? It's not Brian Windhorst. That's an NBA analyst.
No, that's the guy who's being paid a shitload of money to follow LeBron James into the grave.
Yeah, his whole career.
Get some weight loss advice from LeBron James. Mr. Windhorst, please.
Come on.
If you want to follow him throughout his entire career, you're going to have to lose some weight because you're not going to make it.
You're not going to keep up with him.
I'm just saying. Ask the guy who's following Jordan. He's still alive. I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I kind of
about.
will look it up for 2 seconds. Keep talking about what you're talking about. I'll take 2 seconds.
But no, the point is that guy, he'll come out and be like, mind blown. Did not see that coming. He'll actually come out and say that. I give that guy mad props, but everyone else, every other analyst in every other network in any league, anywhere, just, excuses. Not just, dude, you picked wrong. Just come out and say, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I underestimated them. Just say it. Just be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. Because you have to make mistakes in order to get better. So just admit it and move on. Don't be so fucking arrogant. Stuart Scott would piss on your grave if he's still alive.
Okay. I text.
No, he wouldn't because he'd be completely out of character for Stuart Scott. But he'd definitely have a Snyder mark.
ESPN.
I think he's an NBA analyst. I don't even think he's.
No, he's ESPN. ESPN.
Yeah, but I think he's in NBA. I don't think he's a NCAA analyst.
NBA, ESPN bracketologist. Name. Joe Lenardi? Joe Lenardi.
No, I think that's wrong. But
Joe Lenardi, that's the only one that comes up. For some reason, that doesn't sound right either, but that's the one that comes up the most. So, yeah, Joe Lenardi.
Yeah, but whatever. At least that dude. And if we're wrong, let us be wrong. We'll be fine. We'll get over it. Be sure to leave that in the comment section, or even put a video posting about how stupid we are in this particular aspect of our lives. And we'll get back to
we
that
would
later.
love to hear people debating us in our comments. I would love to hear people debating and bitching in our comments.
How funny would it be to get a us versus them podcast or
that would be great.
TV going right now?
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
Anyway, that's the end of that.
I would love to be us guest stars, be a podcast on ESPN versus Take or something. I'd love to get that.
Oh my god, his versus hers. I would fucking tear that asshole and you would fucking hate him so bad.
Him or her?
Him. I don't hate her.
I hate both of them.
I'm starting to hate her. I'm starting to hate her just as much
She's
as
very
I hate
negative.
him.
She's super negative.
Always raining on her fucking parade.
She's a
I just
negative
never liked him.
Nancy.
I never liked him when he was on PTI. No.
Around the horn.
Yeah, I never liked him on it. Everything about him
I like
was
him
about race. It's about I'm a black man and I'm underestimated in American society, and that pisses me off. Because we're supposed to be equal, let's treat each other like equals. Let's not harp about how I'm different.
I got on a tirade with somebody about feminism. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, we are way off topic.
Wichita State. They beat Kansas. Kansas should have been playing them all along. That's what you deserve. You deserve to get your ass spanked on one of the biggest stages in the world.
Yeah, Crimea River, Kansas.
If you'd have played them 100 times up to now, maybe you guys wouldn't look like bitches. Like this weekend, Sunday.
I'm not gonna lie, I was cheering for the Jayhawks when they won it all back in the '90s.
That's fine. But the fact that they will not play Wichita State when they're in the same state.
Wichita, baby. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. My boys got no respect when they were good, but now that they're bad, everybody wants a piece of them.
Yeah. So I told you, I said this in the quick cast. I think it'd be just sweet poetic justice if now I want Mountaineers to win, but if Mountaineers, God forbid, they lose, I would love Wichita State to beat Notre Dame and then beat Kentucky and end their undefeated season the way Kentucky ended theirs last year. Boom. Love that. And then Wichita State will lose next game. But anyway, probably.
I've only got one
because they
bracket.
got to play Wisconsin.
I think I got one bracket where Wichita State was winning, and I think that bracket's percentage is down to like
2.
No, actually, I think it's 36. I'm actually doing pretty good percentage. But I still have one bracket at 60%.
I have all my Final Four. No, I have one Final Four team gone. Virginia.
I'm intact. I am intact. All the teams that I picked to make it to the Elite Eight are playing this weekend, so I could still. Granted, I'm out for whatever. There's no money involved at this point, but I could still have a perfect Elite Eight, and that would throw me to no end.
Here's something that we didn't throw in the quick cast, but I'm going to rant about this for 5 seconds. It's not fair to Virginia, who's a 2 seed, to have to play Michigan State second round. That's not fair at all for being a 30-4 team to have to play Michigan State. I don't think that sucks. That's bullshit.
How fair is it this Wisconsin's got to go out and play with no rest?
What do you mean no rest?
They get like very little. That team gets less rest than anyone else that they've got to play.
Why?
Just the travel schedule and the way the games panned out. Like they played their last game Sunday and they got to play again tonight. Don't they? Don't Wisconsin play?
They do play tonight.
I think they got the least amount of rest of anyone that they've got to go out there to face, and I think that's a little bit bullshit. But that's poor planning on the NCAA. I don't care how the seeds are drawn.
The Mountaineers got the same thing because Mountaineers had to play 9 o'clock.
Where they got to fly to?
They're in California right now, but they had to play 9 o'clock on Sunday. They ended at 12. Had to fly back for class on Monday morning.
Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday. They played Sunday.
Did they play Sunday?
Yeah, promise you. They played Sunday. I went to Blackbird. I went to Blackbird with all my friends. And then...
Friends?
Yeah, I have those.
Seriously?
Yeah, I have those. I invited you, but you got the baby.
I'm not going to go out and watch a basketball game either.
You suck.
I have a short attention span.
Well, basketball's good for that. It's not like baseball. Yeah, I'm going to
Cricket! Damn it. Anyway, go ahead.
Cricket. Yeah, cricket. All right, hey. Lost train of thought. Yeah, they had to play a game.
Debating fairness.
They had to play a game today, or Sunday. I don't understand this. Kentucky got to play Kentucky played Saturday. They get the rest for a whole extra day, while Mountaineers got to play Sunday, fly back overnight Monday, and then they have classes Monday morning, and they have 3.5 days to prepare for Kentucky. While Kentucky got to fly back that night, rest all day Sunday, had to do nothing except maybe watch the WB game. Then they get to prepare all week.
Actually, I distracted you from your original point, which was Virginia and Michigan.
Michigan.
That's why I'm here.
It's not fair that Michigan, or even Michigan, it's not even fair to them, considering they should have been higher than a 7 seed. Considering they almost won the Big Ten tournament. They had to upset Maryland, who was number 8 at the time, and Wisconsin, who was number 3 at the time. It's not fair to them. It really sucks. And I think Wisconsin's one of the best all-around teams when it comes to offense and defense. Their offensive efficiency rate is through the roof. I don't get too analytical, but that's a great stat to have. You want to be very offensively efficient. And VU has done 30-4, and they have to play Michigan. You have to play Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo. They have to play Tom Izzo the second round
Or Rizzo.
as a 2 seed. That is not fucking fair at all. It's bullshit. A team that good, you want those teams in like the Elite Eight. You want those teams. A team that's a number 1 or 2 seed, second round, should be getting a sloppy number 7 or 8, and then or a number 12 or what, or 13 or 16 or whatever they end up playing. Not 13, 14 or 15. It's just not fair.
They're going to keep this up, and the point is, it's going to go from 64 to
128.
Well, no, it's not going to get that deep, but it's going to go from 64 to like 70, and then teams are going to have a bye.
Yeah, they'll never have a
There's
bye.
going to be a bracket that breaks down to have a bye.
I don't know why they just don't expand it one more game.
128 games, or 64 games is a lot to play in 4 days.
Expand it. Have the first game.
No. You didn't understand what I just said. You're saying expand it to 128. 128 teams would be 64 games.
Yeah, I'm saying you play those games earlier in the week.
Well, no. Let's have the weekend start with that. That'd be the first weekend would be those 4 days, because it would take 4 days to get through all that.
Well, okay, the way it's done is you have championship week, which is like all the
Expand it. Just let it go another week, because it doesn't matter. They call it March Madness. It goes well into April.
yeah, that's the championship game.
We can call it April Sanity.
My point is just have the first game Monday and Tuesday. Everyone has Wednesday off. Okay? And if you played Tuesday, you're gonna play Friday. If you played Monday, you're gonna play Thursday. Nothing changes. You just have one more round.
It would take 4 days to get through all those games.
No, it wouldn't. You'd have more games on more channels. Some games aren't gonna get any recognition anyway.
Well, that's bullshit. Then why even expand the these?
Because you're getting more teams a chance to play in the tournament. Well, the issue they have now with the tournament is you have teams that I can name a handful of them off the top of my head.
Well, like the fact that
Louisiana
we had
Tech, Murray State had won 24 straight games. You have Yale should have been in. Yale was actually not a bad team this year. Temple, I don't think UConn got in.
Didn't Yale lose to Harvard?
Yes, in the Ivy League championship. That's why Harvard got
Do
in.
you honestly think Yale would have got a bid in the 128?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Name me 64 teams better, or 64 total teams better than them.
63.
64, because you have to have enough to not have them in it. That's what I'm saying. You have to have enough to not have them in it.
Well, the fact that when we talk about Division I men's college basketball, we have to talk about upwards of 300 teams is ridiculous in and of itself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you're a team that is decent, if you're like, for example, if you're an 18 and let's say you're an 18 and 12 team in a big conference, your wins carry more weight than your losses. Like there's a lot of teams that are like 28 and 5 in like lower conferences that don't get an opportunity to play in the Big 12 or in the NCAA tournament. Why? Because you don't win your conference, and you have teams that are like Mountaineers didn't win their conference, but they're still like a 7-loss team, and they get a chance over them. If you expand it, you're going to have teams who have better records. It's only going to make money. That's all it's going to do. It's going to make money for more people. You're going to have more broadcasting. You're going to have more channels bidding to play these games. You're going to have
people bidding to play
to air the games.
32 of those 64 games.
No.
Just saying.
No, they're going to be.
There's going to be 32 of those. There's going to be 32 of those games.
You don't have any games on True TV all year long except for the NCAA tournament.
I'm telling you, and there's no way True TV could air all those games.
True TV
unless they air them as reruns.
True TV could air four games throughout the course. Well, probably 5 or 6.
You know who owns them? NBC Universal.
So you have ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. There's 4 right there that can air a lot of games if they wanted to.
They'd have to buy sections.
TNT.
They'd have to buy sections. TNT, True TV, USA.
ESPN.
Those are the ones that run it.
USA doesn't run it. Not this year.
Or USA. There's True TV, TBS, and TNT.
PBS, yes.
Those three run all the games.
ESPN,
they bought the contracts.
ESPN would be a good one.
You would have to buy a division. You couldn't just buy X amount of games. Because ESPN is not going to be happy if they end up with the bottom tier of that bracket, the literal 64 or 32 games that no one's going to.
Okay, can I switch this and can we go a different direction on this?
I'm still ready.
All the conference winners, the people who win their conference, don't play the round before the round of 64. Everyone else is a playing game. So okay.
Stop it right now.
Why?
Because without a whiteboard, this is going to be so fucking convoluted that we are not going to be able to keep it straight, and I'm not going to engage this argument without being able to keep it straight. Because literally, are we going to go through and name all of the conferences in this continent right now?
I'm not going to go that route. What I'm going to say is, for example, Kentucky won their conference. Okay? They are
automatic bid, free buy until
buy
16.
Round of 64. Okay, for example, Mountaineers did not win their conference.
This argument's convoluted.
It's not convoluted. If I can, let me just bring up the bracket really fast, and I can show you.
It's not going to work. There's more conferences than you think.
I know there's a lot of conferences.
I don't think it works out the way you would like to, because I think the way the conferences break out is not going to break down mathematically correct to a bracket.
Okay, for example.
That's why they expanded it to 64. Now we can talk about the 10 conferences that everyone likes to talk about and forget everybody else.
Okay, look at this. Example. You have Kentucky and Hampton. Kentucky won their conference, okay?
Okay.
Hampton did not.
Hampton is in.
I don't know the conference. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Don't worry about that.
That's my point.
They did not win their conference though. There's teams in this that did not win their conference. Okay.
Duke
did not win their conference. They should have a playing game. Maybe they have a playing game since it's a shitty team, but they have a playing game. If you win your conference, you are set in the 64, in the round of 64.
Dayton and Boise aren't in the same conference.
I'm saying this is my idea. I know they have playing.
If this is anything like your idea from last week, I'm not going to spend 30 minutes debating.
Okay, my point is this. If you win your conference, you're an automatic bid to be in this round. Okay, for example, Notre Dame does not have to have a playing game. But what you would do is you have games like this game right here. You'd have one branch back, and two teams would play to get to this spot because they did not win their conference. You only have – how many conferences are there?
Well, then let's not expand it to 128. Let's just expand it back.
One more game, and everyone who did not win a conference has to have a playing game.
32.
It might be about 32 more people. It might be about 32 more teams. Let's just figure out.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fine. That's.
Let me just look at how many conferences.
We have literally spent 40 minutes on college basketball. That's atrocious.
Damn it. How many conferences are in the NCAA?
That doesn't count.
Why?
Because there's conferences in basketball that don't exist in football.
32 Division I conferences. Division I. Basketball.
Men's basketball.
Yes. So you have 32. So you'd have another 32 teams that would have a chance to play in the tournament, and you would lose. You would eliminate all this. Well, this team was on the bubble. No, you would. Every team that had legitimately was on the list to maybe be in the tournament would have a chance to play now. Well, every team that did not win their conference would have a playing game.
But we could do that with the round of 64 because you would have the winners and second place. You can take the 1s and 2s from every conference. If the 32 conference, that would give you the round of 64, and that's completely fair because anyone outside of that shouldn't be there anyway.
What do you mean? I'm trying to understand what you're
saying. You said 32 conferences, correct?
Yes.
32 conferences, 2 teams per conference. The 1s and 2s from each conference. That's your round of 64 right there.
I wouldn't do that because your number 2 seed in one conference wouldn't be as good as number 5 seed in another conference. Why should the good conference who makes way more money for the NCAA be punished for having better teams?
You want to be the best?
If that's the case, the Mountaineers should go play in the MAC.
If you want to be the best, be the best. Don't tell me about how a fucking 6 seed in a particular conference is better than a 2 seed in another conference. If you want to be there,
you would
be the top
You would
2.
really fuck with you. You would really, if you change it that way, you would really screw with the landscape of NCAA basketball because you would no longer have these power conferences that were the competitive games.
Oh, you
every
mean
week.
they might actually level out? It might be fair for everybody.
It's fair for everyone. It is fair for everyone already.
Then the 1s and the 2s should be there, and I shouldn't have a 4 seed from another conference playing right now.
Because you're gonna have you can have the 2 seed from the MAC be like a 18 and 12 team, but you can have the 2nd seed from the you can have Duke, who was 32-2 this year, and they were 2nd seed in their conference or 3rd seed.
What?
And
You
they
mean
could
the
lose.
AP poll wouldn't matter anymore? That only the top 2 teams
I don't think
from
you're
each
understanding
conference would
what
have
you're-
a chance.
I don't think you're understanding the
No,
magnitude
I'm talking
of what
about
you're
just
saying.
totally shaking up everything and taking voting out of it.
No,
entirely.
I'm saying that you
Your
add
rankings,
32 more teams.
your strength of schedule bullshit stat that everyone likes to talk
But
about.
here's an example. Let's say Wisconsin won their conference, right?
Yeah, number
Okay, you
one.
with me on that. Western Union didn't win their conference. UNC didn't win their conference. UNC would play another team. Maybe they'd still be a 4 seed, but they would play another team maybe lesser. And the teams that did not get in, for example, Murray State, you have Temple, they would get a chance to play a playing game. And every team that did not win a conference, but is still in this tournament, would get a chance, would have to play a playing game.
Should it be fair or should it be popular? There's my question to you. Should it be fair or should it be popular?
Well, okay.
When you're talking about expansion, should it be fair
Okay.
or should it be popular?
You already have the better of both worlds because they expanded to 64 for 2 reasons: fair and popular. Well, I think March Madness is so awesome. I mean, you're not a basketball fan, and you've talked about it for 40 minutes now.
I'm not talking about it. I'm arguing about it with you because what you're talking about is expanding it so that a team that hasn't even been ranked all season long gets a shot at the title. That's what you're talking about.
Half the tournament, dude. There's 64 teams. There's only 25 teams ranked, Chad. You have 64 teams.
Let's say you're going to tell me they stop at 25. You know that's bullshit, and so do I, because they go all the way down.
Yeah,
to
but the
50.
AP it goes down to 50. Actually, it goes down to 30. It goes to 30. Then beyond that, it's just based on voting. It's just whoever actually has votes.
And
That's all it goes
then
on.
becomes a popularity contest.
Well, they don't rank them. Okay, after you get past 25, they don't rank 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. All they do is rank. They write down who got votes. That's all they write down. So you can technically go up to 100 if people still had votes. That's how they do it.
Well, therein lies the problem with the process is it's based on voting.
No, it's based on RPI too. But there's a lot of different things that go into that.
Made up
Oh, we just went on a
statistics.
nice tangent here. Good argument.
Go to the NBA.
Do you understand what I'm saying though?
No, I understand what you're saying.
You just don't like it.
I've argued about this in college sports for years at length with multiple individuals, and it always comes down to a popularity contest and made up statistics. That's what it comes down to. And money. And making more money.
Well, adding 32 more teams is going to make money for everyone. The teams playing, the NCAA, all the televisions. That
You want it fair, you want to be in the tournament, then be within 1 or 2 of the best in your division, and then by all means,
Bullshit.
let's go to the tournament, let's all wear our hat. Then we don't have to hear about
The
Cinderella every
best
fucking year.
team in some of the worst conferences could not do anything against the worst teams in some of the best conferences.
That would be fair.
No, it wouldn't be fair.
It would be fair.
It wouldn't be fair at all. Yeah, but
Maybe those conferences would start to improve.
they improve based on the quality of their coaching. I like it the way it is because the quality of their coaching and the way that they do things is just as good as, or they just don't have the talent players. If they found a way to get talented players, Calipari got kids come to Memphis and play good. It
Yeah,
depends on
you're
your
missing the
talent.
backside of the argument because if it was the top 1 and 2 teams from each division, all 32 of them.
You're punishing teams that have to play a tougher con. If everyone played the same exact schedule, you have a point.
Maybe I am, and then maybe it would cause a shakeup to where the conferences would finally level out. But what it would do is give these lesser-known conferences, like, can you go through and name all 32 right now off the top of your head?
I can name a handful. I can name probably 20 of them.
Okay. So there's a point. There's 12
Easily
conferences
20.
out there
Easily
that nobody talks about. If we do what I'm saying, then there's 12 conferences that actually get in there. There are those teams within those 24 teams that no one ever has heard of or talked about that will actually get some national stage time, which might improve recruiting and coaching and players, improve statistics, bring money to those universities so they can afford to do all these things. Because at the end of the day, the only way you make money in the NCAA is by being on TV.
If you did that, Chad, here's what would happen. You would have teams like it would not benefit West Virginia one damn bit to play.
I didn't say it was going to benefit the bigger, more known colleges.
No, it would actually destroy the. Let me finish. Please let me finish. It would destroy the smaller colleges. Here's why: because you have bigger colleges like WVU, or Kentucky, or Kansas will go to a crappier conference, and they will run the conference and destroy everyone in the conference. Therefore, putting down the little guys, and they'll never get anywhere because they'll never make money, they'll never make tournaments, they'll never be able to be on a national spotlight. Because you're just going to have the better teams going to weaker conferences. For example, if West Virginia went to let's say they went to the Patriot League, they would destroy the Patriot League.
What's the NCAA for? I thought they were there to regulate all that.
They're
to
not
make
there,
sure that kind of bullshit didn't happen.
They're not there to regulate that. They're there to make sure that players don't get paid, and to make sure the NCAA makes a lot of money for themselves. The NCAA is a joke, so don't get me started on the NCAA. But that's what you would have happen if you had that. For example, Boise State is one of the better teams in their basketball conference. If you did that in Mountain West,
yeah.
Excuse me. What would happen was you'd have teams from the Pac-12. One of them would probably leave. One or two of them would leave. And my battery's about to die. I can see the light going. One or two of them would leave. Yep, see. One or two of those teams would leave and go to the Mountain West. Now Boise State will never win a conference title. Will never see the light of day in the NCAA tournament because they no longer have a competitive. In no way are they competitive. The way the leagues are designed is they are competitive amongst the leagues because they're all about the same talent level. What you're doing is you're making it so you're taking away that advantage they have of winning the conference and getting to the big show by making it so top two teams from every conference. You do that, then look, the teams that are a little bit better in every other conference, for example, the ACC where they have Duke and Virginia and Notre Dame and Louisville, will leave and go to a conference where they're going to be able to get into the tournament rather than having the little teams get in.
Okay, and
it's going to ruin it'll ruin college basketball. The little teams you're trying to help with that rule are going to get fucked because teams are just going to leave and go to the bigger conferences.
After about 5 seasons, because no one files a petition in June and gets it granted in December.
You can cherry conferences like that. You just got you have a contract with every league. You just got to pay them out. That's all. That's how the Mountaineers got out of the Big Ten the Big East very quickly.
Well,
they had to pay like $2.5 million to get out. Okay, so I know what you're saying. In theory, you're right. But if every league was exactly the same, and every league the talent was spread. Okay.
If you're going to do what you want to do, then the only right thing to do is include every single solitary conference and let everyone get a shot.
I have no issue with the conference,
but there's no sense. Because you're talking about giving the 3 and 4 and 5 and 10 and 20 seed teams a shot. That's all well and good. But if you want to expand the playoffs out to 128, then you have to make sure that every single conference gets a bid because that's the only fair way to do it.
That's what this does, Chad. If you're let's say you're in the MAC. If you win the MAC, you're automatically in the tournament. Unless you have like 30 wins and 4 losses in the MAC and you didn't win the conference and you're one of those, like, you're a really good team in the MAC and you just happen to lose on a fluke game, you could be excluded because you didn't win your conference with the way it's set up now with 64 teams. With the way I'm describing it, you don't lose out on the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament because of that. You still have a chance to play because now you've expanded from 64 teams to 98 teams, I think it's supposed to be. 96 teams. Because you're adding 32 more teams. That's what you're doing. You're adding an opportunity for the lower seeds in lesser conferences the opportunity to play.
I'm amenable to that as long as, if we're talking about 64 teams, we're talking about all 32 represented divisions.
Yes, every division has a conference. Every conference has a team in. Okay.
But point is, if you want to expand it to that, that's all well and good. But if you're just going to keep, if the NCAA is going to continue to be left in the dirt because they're not from a cash money conference, then it's
That's
bullshit
what
to
this-
expand it.
That's what this does, bud. If you're in a bigger conference, you get the benefit of the doubt if you have a 20-12 season compared to if you're in a lesser conference but you're 30-4. Because you're in the bigger conference, you get the benefit of the doubt being 20-12 because you played higher level opponents. Therefore, you should have more losses. That's what I'm saying. This helps smaller schools. All the schools I listed to you that should be in the tournament that are not is what I'm talking about. Murray State is not a big name school. Temple, you've heard of them. You've heard of Murray State too, probably. But,
Yeah.
But those two schools are in lower or smaller conferences. They're not in huge conferences. And those two teams are very good basketball teams. Yale is another example. That was a very good basketball team. But because they're not in a higher quality of basketball league, they get snubbed for having 28 wins.
They snub the Ivy League every year as much as humanly
Okay,
possible. They would leave them out completely if they could, especially in football.
What I'm suggesting eliminates that. It gives them at least a chance to play into the big dance. That's all I'm saying. And that benefits the lower conferences than it does the bigger conferences. That's all I'm trying to say. You're giving those lower conferences more chance by doing it the way I said. If you win your conference, you're automatically in the round of 64. If you don't, you have to play a playing game.
Do you really think Duke is going to bail on the ACC after one season of placing third?
And they don't make the NCAA tournament? Absolutely, because they don't get any money out of that. They're going to lose a lot of money that way. They'll go to a conference where they can win every year. Easily.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to shake up like that because some of the reasons that those games are the most impressive is because of the conference they're in. And by bailing on that conference, you're losing contracts for games that everybody wants to see every single fucking year.
It's all about this, Chad. If you're in a lower conference, first off, let's go.
That's back to my argument from last week. I was right. It's all about the Benjamins.
It's always been about the Benjamins. But if you
go, we have literally been on college basketball for 51 fucking minutes.
Because you don't. I don't think.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Explain back to me what
you're
I'm
telling
saying.
me.
I want you to explain back to me what I'm saying.
No, what you're saying is that it's more important for a 5 or 6 seed to have a shot at the title than it is for a division or a conference winner to have a shot at the title. That's what you're saying.
No, because the conference winner gets a bye. They don't have to play the round before the round of 64.
So you're going to give all 32 conference winners a bye.
They're
all 32. All 32, even
Yes.
those lesser-known schools that nobody gives a shit
That's
about.
exactly what I said.
You did not say that.
Timeout. God damn it.
You did not say that.
I'm getting a picture of an NCAA bracket. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, and we're going to clear this up. Sorry, Internet, but I have to get...
He didn't say that.
We have to do... Okay.
He didn't say that.
Look, Chad. Okay. Let's... If it loads.
It's loaded enough. I can see 60.
Okay, let's just go this route. Okay, this one. Looking at this, you can go down this list, and 32 of these teams, 16 on each side, are conference champions.
Okay, who are 1 and 2 in the ACC?
1 and 2 in the... Hold on. I don't need that. Get out of here. Fuck off. Damn it.
Wow, you just...
Okay.
Who were 1 and 2 in the ACC?
1 and 2 in the ACC were Notre Dame beat somebody. Who Notre Dame beat? Virginia?
Okay, Duke was 3rd. Duke was 4th.
Why do you keep doing this?
Did you say Siri?
No. You have to hit that. Okay? Are you with me? Okay? Let's say, hypothetically, Louisville wins their conference. Okay? The team below them right now did not win their conference. Okay? They don't get... Imagine there's another bracket out here. One more out. Okay?
Yes.
If you win your conference, you don't have to play the one more bracket out here.
Any conference.
Any conference.
Okay.
32 teams. There's 32 conferences.
That's fairer.
That's what I'm saying.
That's more
So
fair.
if he wins and so way down, you have 16 on each side. They don't have to play. They get a bye to the round of 64. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You have the round out here where teams that did not win their conference, ergo, let's say West Virginia and Maryland had to play, or they had to play a buying game against each other. They would play, and then maybe they would win and go into like the 9th spot here. They would play for that 9th spot. You'd have teams equal on that level. Are you with me now?
But it would be like Boise and Dayton, who are separate conferences but playing for the 16th seed.
Yes. It would, well, depends. Depends on the playing game. Some playing games are like the 13th seed or whatever, but it just depends on it.
Well, it's usually 13 through 16.
But you get what I'm saying now. All 32 conference winners would get a bye to the
automatic bid.
Yes, to the 64. If you don't, that's where you get the other 32 teams. Like, for example, Western Kentucky.
So would it come from the voted rankings, or would it come from the 2 and 3 seeds from each individual conference?
It doesn't matter what seed they are. It matters who had the credentials of the teams.
Well, every conference has a playoff, do they?
Well, you're adding 32 more teams. There's no one going to get snubbed anymore. You're going to have teams that definitively say that they have a legitimate chance to win a game or two in the tournament.
Every conference has a playoff, a technical playoff.
They have a championship. Yes, they have a championship.
Okay. So, are you saying that it would come down to the AP votes, or would it come down to the 2 and 3s in every conference?
After the 30th team, Chad, there's no more votes. So it would go down to people judging their strength of schedule, their RPI. It comes down to committee judging this. You're adding 30. You're not going to add 32 more Kentuckys. It's not like you're making it unfair.
No, I'm just saying that's my biggest problem with college sports is it comes down to, you know what? Huggins is a dick. He didn't buy me breakfast that one day. Fuck him. I'm not voting him up. Because the voting is what pisses me off. The voting is what makes it wrong. The voting is the thing that takes it from being fair to being skewed.
But this makes it fairer because the teams that get voted out, you've heard that on the bubble. Teams that are on the bubble, you've heard that?
That's bullshit.
Teams that are on the bubble or they get snubbed, they call it getting snubbed whenever they should be in the tournament, but they're not. For example, this year, UCLA, for some reason, got in the tournament whenever they did not play well at all this year. But they got.
And then the fact that they won on a technical.
Don't get into that. But you understand what I'm saying now. If you're a team who did not win their conference, but your record and your credentials are enough to get you in, you have a game out here where you play in to this round. That's what I'm saying.
It needs to be delineated, but yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
As long as all 32 number ones get in.
Yes.
I am amenable.
And odds are you're probably going to have all the second seeds in every conference going to get in.
And I'm amenable to that. Then, and if that's the way it ends up happening, that's fine. But I don't think because the ACC has 10 super awesome, great, strong teams that we should just throw all 10 of them in here just for shits and giggles.
I don't agree with that either.
That's where my bullshit ends.
I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm
okay. Are we finally on the same page?
Yeah, now that I've explained it and you understand. Honest to goodness, we'll play this back later.
Not play any.
I said the 32 conference winners would get automatic bids. It was the first thing I said.
And then I said, so the round of 64 would be the 1s and 2s of every conference.
It would not be the 1s
and 2s. It's okay. Then we expanded on out to that. But your point you were still making was the fact that and I'm using the ACC as an example, because they were ranked higher in the AP top 30, that those teams would have a preference over everyone else in the tournament. They would all get in regardless. They would still have to play, but they would be in the round of 128. And you would leave out the weaker conferences because, and I quote, they wouldn't have a chance. Why should they play anyway?
No. There's
always an internet. I'm pretty right about that.
There's always a chance. No. Hopefully the internet understands what I'm saying.
Are you going to babble on about Westbrook now?
I'll get that real quick because we need to skim through some of this because I have places to be. We didn't talk about the Indiana gay law in our podcast.
Let's avoid ourselves from that bullshit and not discuss something that doesn't require a full discussion. The point is, if you're going to refuse to serve somebody based on anything other than the fact that they are assholes, fuck you.
Yeah. Russell Westbrook, my rant was, I don't think he should be in the MVP discussion. Maybe discussion is a harsh word. Like, he should be in the discussion somewhere, but
top 5, 6 maybe.
Definitely top 5. I'll give him top 5. But he if he wins it, it's bullshit. He should not win the MVP.
Steph Curry, baby sakes.
The baby assassin. Ninja baby. Woo! Russell Westbrook, if Kobe Bryant can't win the MVP, averaging 37, 40 points a game, having 4 60-plus point games, an 81-point game, 8 50-point games, and about a dozen 30-point games in the season.
He scored 81 points in one game.
Yep. Against the Raptors, 2007. And he actually could have had more, but he missed like 9 free throws. He could have had 90 if he wouldn't have missed 9 free throws.
The Lakers were not that good that year.
They were horrible that year, and that's my point.
So he carried them.
He carried them, and he got them to, I think it was the 7th seed because they ended up losing first round to the I won't say San Antonio. I won't say San Antonio. This is who consists of his team: Smush Parker, Chris Mim, and Kwame Brown, one of the biggest busts in the history of the NBA. Kwame Brown. So, and if he can't win an MVP doing that, why the hell should Russell Wilson win an MVP? Because he has 9 triple doubles.
Nah. Westbrook. You said
I
Wilson.
keep messing that up. Thank you. Now, I don't. Nine triple doubles is pretty awesome. Guess who had 9 triple doubles in a row? Michael Jordan, and he didn't win a fucking MVP. Not that year. He did before that, but he didn't have 9 in a row. He had 9 in 10 games. We'll rephrase that. He had like 6 in a row. He had a game where he missed it by like 2 rebounds and an assist. He still had more than 10 points. Then he got 4 more. What?
Record's 8
in a game in a season? No, it's not.
Is it 8 or is it 7?
8 in a row, you mean?
Yeah, 8 nights in a row or 8 games in a row having that.
He might have had 8 in a row, but I know he had 9 in 10 games. Just Scottie Pippen was out.
God, I love Scottie Pippen. No one ever wants to talk about Scottie.
He's a good player, but not as good as MJ.
Alonzo Mourning. There's someone else nobody else talks about.
The only other player I could think of that was like really high on like the triple double was Oscar Robertson.
I have no idea who that is.
He had 1 year where he pretty much averaged a triple double just about. He averaged almost a triple double. He had like 8 assists, 12 rebounds, and 15 points.
Point is, Westbrook, no. LeBron, no. Curry, yes. What, Davis? I like Davis.
It should be Curry, Harden, and
come on.
I gotta give LeBron his props because at least he's number 2 in the East.
But Davis wasn't he out like the first part of the season?
Yeah, and that's why I don't give him credit because he was out the first
came in and then here he is putting up.
I don't get me wrong. I think
in cracking stats like they're
in 2 or 3 years, Anthony Davis would be by far the best player in the league. He can score as a 6'11" player. He can shoot the jump shot. He can score inside. He can jump out of the gym. He plays defense. He's got long arms. He averages like 5 blocks a game. That's incredible. And there's a couple times this year he's had like 8 or 9 blocks.
I like his stories.
I like it. I like him too.
I like his story better than I like LeBron's. I'll put it the other way.
LeBron, his team's just doing. You have to. Your success is predicated on also the success of your team. So
Kevin Love and him are gonna have a shootout in the locker room, and it's gonna be funny.
Kevin Love is another example of a player who did very well when he played for Memphis. He played very well. He was averaging like 28 points and like 15 rebounds.
Wasn't he the alpha dog on that team?
Not Memphis. I'm sorry, Timberwolves. He was, but the fact that the team never made the playoffs, he never got any recognition. You got to at least get your team to the playoffs. Russell Westbrook. For all I don't like about him, at least his team is on the brink of getting to the playoffs.
Dude, after what?
That's the only reason I give him. I do think Anthony Davis is better. He's absolutely better. He will be the first player ever to get the not the
quintuple double.
He might get the quad triple double and the quintuple double.
How do you get a quad triple double? There's either a quad double or a quint double. Because there's nobody.
Quad double.
Nobody is ever going to get a quad triple.
That
will never happen.
Quad double, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
You'd
have to have 100 assists and 100 rebounds.
I think he'd get a quint. I think he could pull the quint double. I think he could do it.
10 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. These two are easy. Points and rebounds are easy. He gets those being asleep.
Here, I'll hold up my fingers.
Assists,
you do your thing.
Assists are going to be hard because he's a post player. Blocks, he can get that, but steals and assists are going to be the 2 ones he's going to have a problem with. So we have to play.
It could be done. It could be done.
It could be done. Okay, sorry. Westbrook, done with that. Best defenses in the NFL next year. I'll just go ahead and go mine. Number 1, I think, will be the Jets. Number 2 will be Buffalo. Jets adding Cromartie and Revis makes you that much better. And not to mention, they got the offensive coordinator.
Talk about defense, not offense.
The defensive coordinator from Arizona. That's their head coach. I can't think of his name. It's not Todd Haley. It's Todd something.
Who got Quinn? Atlanta. Quinn.
So that's the defense coordinator from Seattle, right?
Yeah, it's Quinn.
The defense coordinator from Arizona is the head coach of the Jets now. So that's why I have a feeling that they're going to be pretty darn good on defense. Buffalo, you add any defense, you add Rich Ryan at the helm of, you just automatically just got that much better.
+5.
Yeah, Texans. You add Wolf Fork, you're going to get Jadeveon Clowney back. You already had one of the best defenses in the league already. Your front seven is just outstanding. You had J.J. Watt and Cushing still. Just if your secondary can hold up, you're going to have a stellar lights out defense. And then honorable mention goes to Seattle. I'll throw Arizona out there because they're really well coached, and I'll also throw out there St. Louis.
I'm going by how I plan on drafting them, not based on any sort of math or science. I'm looking at Houston, Seattle, and New York Jets. That is definitely where I'm going with my picks for a defense this year.
See, the Texans is a huge pickup. Here's why. 2 games a year, you're going to have really rough time getting points because you got to play Andrew Luck.
But 3 games a year, I'm going to get massive points off
6.
of Watt. He scored 3 touchdowns on defense this year. So at least 3 games a year, I'm going to get 7 points automatic.
Texans, or Titans. Jacksonville. 4 games at least. That's what I mean by that.
Okay.
That's what I mean. You have 4 games where you're going to have lights out defense no matter what you do.
Watch the 49ers. For whatever reason, they could come out of the draft shining like a brand new Audi.
Nope, I disagree with it.
It'll be interesting. Go on.
Anyway, Randy Gregory. Awesome kid.
Yeah, I still don't understand this, and this will still be short and sweet and concise and to the point. If I gave you the choice of either A, making $1 million a year for 10 years, 7 to 10 years, let's just say 7. That's $7 million in your pocket, with the possibility of signing a contract for a lot more money later on.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
He was going to go 7th overall. That's $3 million a year.
Possibility.
After 2 years, he gets it boosts up to 6.
Possibility of 5th overall, depending on whose board you're
between
working
like 4 and 7. It's the rookie wage scale. He can only get an X amount of money, but he can get $2 or $3 million this year, $3 to $4 million next year, and if they take his contract the next year, he can get between 5 and 7, just based on his performance.
So first contract is what? Good for 2 or 3?
It depends on where he's drafted, but where he's at, it'd have been about $3 million, $2 to $3 million, with incentives. For example, let's say he makes all rookie team, he'll get another $1 million. If he plays X amount of minutes, actually the next year he has to get paid another $1 million. Like with Alfred Morris, he played X amount of plays.
Yeah.
So he had, and his contract was cheap because he was a 6th round pick. So he was only getting like $920,000, and they had to give him another $1 million on top of that.
All right.
Because of how many snaps he played. So there's a lot of things, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Point is,
you got about $3 million a year.
Point is, this kid's looking at the first 5 years of his NFL career, walking away with $15 million solid, cold hard cash in your pocket. So if I gave you the choice, at the end of 5 years, or each year, I'm going to give you $3 million a year on June 1st. Every year, I'm going to give you $3 million a year for 5 years.
Well, not just that, but just your starting bonus is $1 million.
Well, or you can smoke the best weed in the world once a week for those same 5 years. What are you going to take? I'm taking the money. After I retire from the NFL, I can blow all the pot I want.
Yeah.
Why do you got to be so fucking stupid? I'm so sick and tired of you kids coming out together.
Stephen A. Smith says, you need to stay off the weed. That's the way he says it. You stay off the weed. How hard is that?
Take yourself out of that. And seriously, at the combine, had you blown a random test in the middle of the summer? I understand. You're on a yacht with your boys. Bieber was there. Manziel was there. We were having a great time. Whatever. I get it. That's the environment you were in. But you weren't there. You literally had to smoke weed within 3 days of the combine. Seriously? How fucking stressed out were you that was your decision to add more stress to your life because you
realized, how much pain were you in that you needed to do it to relieve yourself from pain?
It's pretty much a guarantee. Well, no, it is all but 100% guarantee. You go to the combine, you're going to pee in a cup, and they're going to analyze it, and they're going to find out what kind of shithead you are. You literally just fucked yourself out of about $2 million a year.
Don't get me wrong. He's probably gonna get drafted
For a Hufflepuff.
He'll get like 6th-round pick, and he'll get the league minimum $500,000 or something.
Why screw yourself? Why would you do that to yourself?
And he'll probably be suspended the first 4 games because of the substance abuse policy.
Yeah, because you did it at the combine, not at college. Never mind this 2 times you got popped at Nebraska for doing it. God, how stupid do you have to be? And don't tell me about your boys, and don't tell me about, well, they're my friends, and I was at their house, and I got secondhand.
Are your friends going to pay you for your salary if you get caught? If you get in trouble for smoking weed?
They going to give you that $3 million?
It's like I have friends of mine. I have friends of mine that smoke pot, and they've always invited me to do it, and I never do it. And they always ask me, "I'm like, dude, are you gonna pay for the job I might lose someday because I have marijuana in my system?" And like, it's not that big a deal. I'm like, yeah, it is. Just because
it's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal, and marijuana is not an addictive drug, per se, where you physically need it. Like the heroin, your body like shuts down because it's just functioning on it. But mentally, you need it. Your body mentally gets used to operating under the influence of THC.
Yeah, you can get addicted to the feeling, but you can't get addicted to the drug.
It's a psychological thing. You get addicted to how you feel on it. I'll throw this out there for 5 seconds. Guy at work. You ever heard? You don't watch Netflix much, do you? I'm just curious.
No.
Do you? Okay. There's a documentary on Netflix. It's not a documentary. It's the worst. It's the most retarded thing ever. What's called Super High Me, where a guy who smokes pot all the time stops smoking pot and does like cognitive tests to see how much better he is under pot. Now, if you watch it, he goes like he stops smoking pot on Monday. Tuesday he starts doing his cognitive tests, his physical tests for like 30 days. So he doesn't smoke weed at all for 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then he goes from that to smoking pot like nonstop for like 30 days. Now the issue I have with this is if, for example, you like to have a drink, and if you drink all the time and you go cold turkey, if you go cold turkey and you're used to being under the influence of alcohol, and you go cold turkey for like 30 days straight, you're going to have probably about 10 days of that where you're going to go through a little bit of withdrawal, yes or no?
Angst, anxiety.
Yeah, I go through it just by not drinking Mountain Dew. When I go on my
headaches. Not so much from this. I literally don't drink enough of that.
But you know what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah. I understand drug withdrawal. Been there,
yeah, a huge drug withdrawal. When you go from smoking pot every day to not, your nerves that you usually don't have going on in your mind,
you'll feel feelings that you've never felt.
Yeah, and you don't know how to respond to them because you're usually so doped up you don't care. And so, and there's stoners I work with that think that, no, I'm not even kidding you, there's stoners I work with that think that there's legitimacy to this study. I'm like, there's no legitimacy to this study. If you went 30 days, went through the withdrawal, went through what they call it the DTs, is that what it's called? When you go through withdrawal, DTs?
There's no way you can...
Not the DTs like or a huge drug addict will go through, but you know what I mean. You go through withdrawal in your adjustment phase where you got to go through a period of not being under the influence of it all the time, and your body adjusts to.
Taking a test while you're under the adjustment phase or fallout phase is not
scientific at all.
No, it's not going to fix anything because the only thing if you took a test score on your 30th day of smoking 5 bowls a day, and then the following day you didn't smoke any bowls and took a test at midnight the following day, like a full 24-hour period. That first test is going to be abysmal compared to where you were when you were high.
It was abysmal because prior to him doing the study, he smoked pot like all the time, like at least every day. I wouldn't say it was like 24/7 like he did for the last 30 days. We did tests for like 30 days. Cognitive tests like memory. He did all these things for 30 days.
Cats are awesome.
30 days, and then he did it under the influence of weed. And his cognitive tests were higher under the influence of weed. Why? Because he's used to it. And so he goes through all this time where he's stressed out. He's not under the influence of weed. I need weed. And then after 30 days, he finally gets his weed. Oh, thank God. Now the weight of the world is off my shoulders. So now I can do all these tests, and I'm stress-free.
That's pretty impressive because after 28 days, he should have been out of the habit and detoxified. wholly and thoroughly, and he shouldn't have even
basically
desired it.
Basically, they did the test like right after that, and then he went 30 days to see how he like felt and stuff like that.
Johnson & Johnson has a lot of money.
I don't think it was Johnson, but
It's the kind of thing they would do.
That is retarded. So that's on the whole weed thing, and I'm not gonna say his name, but I worked with a kid who had a scholarship to play soccer at WVU. And I'm not blaming marijuana for this. I think he's just kind of a dumb kid in general. But basically, he just gave up on his dreams of playing college soccer. He wants to smoke pot all the time.
I know you're
okay. He says he quit for his girl, but he just does stupid shit all the time. So
stop it. Do you want paid? Like, cause seriously, after your professional life, sports career is over, you can take all of the money you saved because you bought a modest house and a modest car and you have a modest wife with a modest dog, and then you could smoke all the weed you want for the rest of your life, or you could be a complete fucking retard.
Well, the way the world is you want instant gratification. You want it now. You want to feel good now. You don't want to feel good later. You want to take care of your...
I'd rather be sitting in fucking Boca or a country that doesn't have any restrictions on what I feel like doing in my spare time. I don't know. Let's go to Amsterdam for Christmas. Man, seriously.
I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs, so I can't relate too much to that. I just know if you never get addicted to something you never try.
You should totally this year for Halloween go as Mr. Mackey.
Okay. Mackey did drugs, so
yeah, that was like one of the better episodes.
That's one of the first episodes ever.
It's still one of the better episodes.
Drugs are bad.
Point is, when and apparently we don't have this problem in the NBA as bad as we'd like to think. Either that or it's repressed. We don't have this problem as bad in the MLB or it's repressed. However, anyone going to the NFL, and I guess because there's fewer of them overall, I don't know.
In the NFL, there's more players in the NFL overall. That might be why.
Whatever. Stop it.
You have 7 rounds, so.
I agree with my brother-in-law, and this will be the only time this ever happens. This time, he said, "Pay him. Pay him in college." No, we're not going back to what we did last week. So stop it. Pay him in college. Pay the NCAA football players. Pay them while they're in college. Let them fuck up. Let them ruin their lives. Let them get decimated, destroyed, and desecrated. And then the NFL is going to thin out to the elitist of the elite, the best of the best physical specimens that life has to offer.
And better role models.
Indeed. So pay them in college, let them screw up, let the university deal with your bullshit, and then when they get to you, Mr. Goodell,
they're model citizens. You have a record to know who they are.
You will only have the best of the best left. You won't have any Manziels.
I don't think Manziel's an issue. Come on.
He's a personality issue. He's not a
I gotta clear something up here.
No. He's not a His problem isn't with addiction. His problem is addiction to attention, which is a completely different thing entirely. Winston, however, would not stand a chance in the NFL because of his issues. Not necessarily with addiction, but with look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm stealing shit. I'm on a table screaming, fuck her right in the pussy. You're an idiot. You don't deserve to get paid.
He is an idiot.
He doesn't deserve to get paid. He's already famous, and he's going to jump up on the table in the middle of the student commune and do that. Seriously?
Right in the pussy.
Fuck her right in the pussy, quote, end quote. Which brings me to another point.
Go ahead.
How do you get the balls to call Monet Davis, a 14-year-old girl, a slut? How fucking dumb do you have to be?
I didn't see that tweet, so I didn't see that tweet.
How dumb do you have to be? One, and I can say this because we're white, she's black. 2, 14. 3, she is America's little black darling. Everybody loves her.
Yeah.
You don't get to call that girl a slut and walk away from it. Thank God for you that Monet Davis is more mature than you, more
She's mature
intelligent than you.
Oh my God, she's a mature. I've seen her with interviews this week. She was on the ESPN 3 different shows like Tuesday. She was on Tuesday.
Yeah, she was on Tuesday.
She was on
3 different shows.
My God, that girl was mature for her age.
She,
Christ.
thank God she forgave you. Thank God the university's not, and they're throwing your ass at a wall because you fucking deserve it. How? Goddamn dumb do you have to be to call out America's sweetheart? Come on.
I gotta ask you a question, and I'm gonna get on this for 5 seconds. About what I said last week, do you really understand what I was trying to say, and what I meant by that? About how the pro level should use the college as their quote unquote their feeder system.
I understand exactly what you were saying.
And that way the kids can get they can get some money to their family, not all of it, some money, and get an education, and the teams have a larger body of work to judge them on who they're playing and their talent in which they're playing and so on and so forth, rather than just being thrown to college 1 year and then thrown in the NBA and then being pretty much cattle. They're pretty much cattle ran. They're running through like cattle. 1 or 2 gets out of the cattle herd, basically.
The thing I thought about over the week after we had that conversation was that the NBA doesn't have near the problem that the NFL does. They really honestly don't. Because when was the last time that a rookie NBA guy had a huge drug problem or a huge attitude problem to the point that it cost him his money? To where the commissioner came down and said, listen, motherfucker, you're about to have a bad damned day.
Well,
that
what I can say about the NBA.
That's my point. Like, the NCAA is a farm league for the NBA. That's all it is. Everybody knows this. We're well aware. We have kids that should go through straight from high school. They should. Because if you got the point, if you can make all that money, why shouldn't you? Because why waste your time in college? Because you're not going to get an education. And underwater basket weaving is not a creditable class. I don't give a shit who you are. 2, the longer you play in college, the more likely you are going to get injured and hurt. So that limits the amount of money you're going to make. Really? Underwater basket weaving? That's what did it?
No, you said, okay, A, this.
2.
That.
Exactly.
That's what I'm laughing at.
I'm still right, aren't I?
Yeah. Okay, my point in that was this.
It's not going to work.
You can go straight out of high school into the pros. But there's a handful of kids that do that and they don't get drafted. And now they can't go play college ball because they've already applied for the draft. If that was the case. Now they got the one and done, you can't do that. But if that was the case. And now they have the one and dones, they're thinking of expanding it to 2 years. My issue with the 2 years is if you do that, then kids are just going to go overseas and play, and now you're going to dilute the talent of basketball we have in college and in high schools, because kids can go play it over in the pros over in Europe or in China at the age of 15.
That would make the Olympics more interesting.
If that happened? What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying, if all of our talent starts going overseas, that would make
it doesn't matter if they go overseas and play. What happens is you have to play for the team you're born on, or you're technically a citizen. If you go over there and play,
any American citizen.
If you go over and play for France, I mean, okay, Dirk Nowitzki doesn't play for the United States in any World Cups or anything like that.
Which I think is bullshit, because if he's going to make money in this country, he should play for this country.
No, but that brings me to another point that. No.
I'm just literally. This is 2 weeks in a row that I'm just like.
Remember a couple years ago, or a couple months ago, when Dion Waiters refused to stand up for the national anthem because he's Islam. He doesn't support America. That was a couple weeks ago. Quick rant on that. First off, shut your goddamn mouth. Whoever tells you that dang, someone's texting me. Motown. If you work for someone and they tell you, hey, be a good boy, Do as we say. I'm good on time. I'm good on time.
I'm just making sure you were trying to rush me through the last bit.
No, just we need to get through that. Sorry. Okay. He says I can't support America because I'm Islam, this and that, so he wouldn't stand for national anthem.
Can't leave.
Someone better kick him in the ass and say, "Listen, I pay your fucking checks. You stand up, put your hand on that heart like a good little boy, and you support America as much as I fucking want you to do. When you go home, you can do it how you want.
You're fired.
You can burn flags in your house for all I goddamn care. But whenever I pay you money, you're gonna stand up, put your hand on your heart, and you're gonna pretend like you like that goddamn man." Dirk Nowitzki, Manu Ginobili, gosh, I know a lot more than just that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
there's a lot of foreign players
I
come into this country and they stand for a national anthem. Why? They're not sitting here saying we are proud to be American citizens. They're not American citizens. They're proud of the opportunity they are given because of the country we are. America is not the greatest country in the world anymore. I'm going to say that right now. But we are still the country with the greatest opportunity.
Did you see that? What show was that? No.
Newsroom.
Yeah, that whole bit about him.
I love
my
that.
God. Put that as my screensaver forever. Holy
was he not wrong?
shit.
Was anything he said
That was
wrong?
amazing.
That was amazing.
That was polarizing.
We are not the greatest country in the world anymore. But we are still the greatest country with the most. We are the greatest country in the sense that we have the most opportunity for anyone. Anyone in our country can born in the lowest of the low and pull themselves out of it and become the highest of the high, the richest, the highest class of anyone. You can come to this country, and in 5 years, if you're legally here and you get a good job, you can pull yourself out of shit and be something, and give your children and yourselves better lives. That's what America's great for. And other players from other countries in sports like baseball, even baseball does this. Hockey and basketball. Like Dirk Nowitzki is one of my favorite players, and he even said this in an interview. He's like, I'm not an American citizen, but I honor and respect what America has given me the opportunity to do. If he played overseas, he might make 1/10 of the money he makes here.
What is wrong with the rest of our professional leagues that the NBA is apparently the only one that got it figured out right now? Like, seriously.
The NBA, you want to know why? I can tell you exactly
But I'm
why.
serious. The NBA doesn't have trouble with drugs.
The NBA,
Usually.
They used to have.
But they don't have trouble with drugs right now. They don't have trouble with attitudes.
You want to know why?
They don't have trouble with player conduct.
Well, first off, you had the NBA is better with people because first off, you can recognize, you can look at the players and know who they are.
What do you got? 12 per team? No, 30 per team.
13, 15. 15 you dress 12. 15 you dress 12.
Total players per team is 15.
Well, you also have your D League if you want to count that.
Well, 15. Okay.
You have 15. You have 3 that don't dress. They're reserves. They still get paid. But and you have 12.
How many teams in the league?
Oh, you have 32.
Everything's 32 except for baseball is 28.
Some leagues 30. Some leagues 30.
Baseball is 30.
Huh?
Because NFL and NBA
basketball
is 32.
might be 30 now. I don't know. That's not important.
Well, what the point is I guess since they have less to look at, it's easier to find.
No, in basketball, the reason why basketball is different in football, I could probably show you a couple pictures of like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. You can recognize them. You could probably show me a picture right now of what Alfred Morris looks like, and I probably wouldn't pick him out of a line of black players because you don't see their face as much, so you don't identify with them as much. In basketball, a couple things. You identify with the players because you see their faces. Okay? You can look at their faces and identify. I can tell you name verbatim of 90% of the players in the NBA league. Just because I've seen their faces, I know what they look like. Okay? Second reason is they're the first league that took it from just a local, like United States league to a national phenomenon, basketball, with the Dream Team, like Michael Jordan and all those guys, just taking basketball to a global scale. So that is why, because not only are you known in America, you're known worldwide. If you're known worldwide, that's a lot more eyes on you. In the NFL, I'm pretty sure if you went to China, they wouldn't give two shits about who Greg Hardy was and who Ray Rice's wife was that he beat up.
Nobody gives a shit.
Okay. probably about the same in baseball. So baseball's a little more worldwide, but NBA is one of the most nationally, that and soccer are the two most popular sports in the world.
Actually, soccer, and second is cricket. Third is basketball.
Cricket might be popular, but I don't. No,
most played.
I can't explain that.
Most played.
Maybe most
played is. No, actually, I watched a documentary the other day. It's soccer, cricket, then basketball. Just.
But basketball is worldwide popular because the United States brought it to people. Well, and that is why the sport has elevated itself. If the NFL elevated itself to where we were not just an American sport, but a worldwide sport, and the whole world had its eyes on you, it probably would elevate the status of what they expect from their players.
That would never happen, and here's why. And I'm not.
The word is like football. That's why.
Well, no, I'm not diminishing any of the three sports I'm going to mention right now, but basketball, soccer, cricket are cheap.
Yeah,
they're cheap. Anyone can play them anytime they want. Even baseball.
We talked about that.
They're cheap. Anyone can play them. Football requires cash.
I'm not trying to reiterate on
lacrosse requires trash. Trash.
Hockey.
Correct. Yeah,
hockey's
everything requires money except those three sports. Those three sports require nothing but involvement.
Basketball, you can play basketball anywhere. You don't even need a basketball hoop to play.
You just need something to throw it at.
Yeah. Actually, no, you just work on your ball handling.
Milk crate.
Well, you don't even need that.
I've actually seen it. Have you seen that? Milk crate on a piece of plywood.
Yeah, I've seen that.
In third world countries, milk crate on a piece of plywood.
More or less, it's more important in basketball than just shooting is ball handling. You can sit in your house and I can throw a ball right now. There's a whole podcast without an issue. Go right into the chair and the other side. Maybe not this chair.
So our point is that the three most popular sports in the country require very little financial obligation in the world.
But the point you were asking is why has the NBA got their shit together and they don't have the issues with players?
Yeah, but that's
probably because the
baseball,
NBA,
I guess, would be easy to sneak in. You keep it teeth.
See, here's my issue with football. Football, their contracts aren't guaranteed. That's what bugs me. You think in the NBA where your contract's guaranteed, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Screw it, yeah.
Because your contract is guaranteed.
Yeah, I can blow all the smoke I want. Fuck it. I'm still on the team. You can't do nothing to me.
You can't do nothing about you. If you cut me, I'm going to get my money regardless. I don't understand that with football. I think it's because it's a more violent sport. And it's kind of hard to disassociate yourself from being that violent guy in the field and then trying to turn it off.
Yeah, but guys,
and a long time ago,
we've seen
in like the 70s and 80s and 60s, whenever they used to hear about like, oh, this football player beat up his wife or this guy got in a fight in a bar, and that was just accepted that that's who they are. That's a football player. That's just who they are. I've heard Skip Bayless said that. Now I don't always agree with everything he says, but obviously he's lived longer than both of us. He's a good 60-some years old and he's followed the NFL.
I don't hate Skip.
From the 60s, I don't hate Skip either. I like both of them. Both of them have their points. I'm really starting to like Stephen A. Smith here lately. I'm not going to go into too much of a tangent on him, but he basically said that
I like that talk about how awesome Kobe Bryant is.
Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah, he can wax on poetically forever about
that.
Or his Knicks.
He recently had a thing at Vanderbilt. He was talking about at Vanderbilt University how he wishes that all African Americans would just vote Republican for one term. The reason why that is, and the internet, I'm about to drop some knowledge on you. I'm dropping knowledge, okay?
Keep in mind that I have literally redirected this conversation 3 times.
You're really good at this.
In the past 32 minutes.
In the past 32 minutes, I have literally steered me wherever you want.
I love it. It's fun. Needless to say, we're not going to get to the Nerdcast today.
We'll save that for next week. Okay. He went to he did a thing at Vanderbilt University where he was giving a speech, and he said that he wishes African Americans would vote. All black people, I don't like to say African Americans, but all black people would vote Republican. And here's why: is he doesn't like that a party blindly disassociates itself with one party the way they do. And then he went on to explain that the only reason that black people vote Democrat is because Martin Luther King, who was actually a Republican, pushed to get civil rights movement, the civil rights movement, right?
It couldn't have anything to do with a black president, could it? Who was a Democrat?
No. I'm talking about Martin Luther King. Okay. Martin Luther King was actually a Republican, believe it or not. Okay. So Okay, got that figured out. I'll see if my friend wants to go. I'm going to tell you this story, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. This is truth. It's on camera. If you want it, go look it up. I'm sure you'll find it somewhere. I don't know the YouTube link, but
Can you talk about Selma?
whenever civil rights movement was signed by Lyndon B. Johnson and the Great American Society leveraged it so that minorities in poverty would get money first in welfare before majorities in poverty. Okay, that's what the Great American Society did, and it changed a lot of the structures of African American housing. For example, you used to have a good, strong black housing family. For example, you have a mother, father, and they have a lot of kids, and it was a stern household. It was a very good, well-run household. Now it's changed to where the Great American Society has said they get more benefits by not being married. For example, if a black man knocks up a black woman in the ghetto, it's better for her to just go on or to get government assistance and her not marry this guy. Because if she marries this guy, she doesn't get government assistance. That's part of what Great American Society is. A lot more to it than that. But basically, it just destroyed the black family. Now, when he signed all this stuff into legislation, the Civil Rights Movement, Great American Society, and I'm going to say exactly what he said. He literally turned to his members of the board or his cabinet and said, "We're going to get these niggers voting Democrat for the next 100 years." That is verbatim what he said.
That's okay.
Now, that's
exactly what just happened.
That's exactly what he said. He did that strictly for votes. I don't think he did it for the right reasons. He did it strictly for the votes. Okay. Now there's a difference between, and Stephen A. Smith always alludes to this, but there's a difference between liberal whites and liberal Republicans are two most opposite people in the world. Liberal whites, I'm really on a political tangent.
You are just. He's taking the political bus down the political stream into the political proverbial train.
Okay. So, liberal whites look at black people in this country and say, "Oh, they can't help what they are. We need to help them." Am I wrong? Is that not how they see
exactly
how they see African Americans and minorities?
That's exactly
They're not. They cannot help.
You can't live without us. You need our help, which is the most racist thing ever.
White conservatives see, you know what? They want the same opportunity I have. More power to them.
Get off your ass and do something about it.
Yeah,
I'm not giving you any of this until you come here.
I have a friend named DT. He's at Black Bear all the time. He's black. He's a friend of mine, and he actually had a conversation with me. He's like, I don't know if you do this intentionally, but when I'm around you, I feel like I have to. There's a standard you're setting for me that I want to live up to. You have an expectation for me. And I don't think you do it intentionally. It's just when I'm around you, I feel like it's something that it's just he can't explain it. He's like, I just feel like you have an expectation, and you don't expect the worst of me. You expect the best of me, and it's different. He's like, in Garrett County is the most weirdest place because
No,
part of Garrett County is very racist, but the other part, we don't care what you did. You are who you are. We like you for who you are.
As long as you don't kill anybody.
Yeah.
That's don't take my don't fuck with my shit, and I don't care.
So, and now I'm off on that tangent, but
Stephen
A. Smith understands that that's how the liberal white is, and the conservative white is, and he has turned to the side of understanding conservative white better. He likes that better. He does not establish himself as a quote unquote Republican, because if he did that, it would be political suicide for him. Because you can't be black and be a Republican for some reason.
To pity you is racist. Do you want my pity or do you want my sympathy? Because you can't get both.
The way I see people of not my color, obviously, or any other color, is I just have an expectation. If you're a good person, you're a good person.
Yeah.
If you do your shit and you get your job done right, whatever you're doing, whether it's a job, whether it's doing school or whatever, as long as you do it the right way, you're fine. I don't care who you are prior to that.
There's 4 other seats at this table that we're sitting at right now, and it doesn't matter who occupies them. I can give a shit what color, creed, or religion you are. I have Muslim friends, which I am frowned upon by the redneck community, because how could you like a Muslim? But actually, he's a really nice guy. He's a really good friend. And he always gives me a heads up on where the Transformers deals are. So, love that guy to death.
I've yet to know a Muslim I've really been friends with, so I can't say anything on that. I won't say anything, but I'm still at arm's length.
I have talked to my boy AMD098 for years. literally years. I've been friends with him for 13 years.
Hmm.
And no issues, no problems.
Okay.
Whatsoever at all. I don't judge you. When you come to my front door, you're not judged on what you look like. You're judged by what you say and how you speak.
It's like I was telling him, I work in a restaurant, and a lot of people I work with are like, they hate it when they get the tables with black people. And I'm like, I would rather have them than there's some white trash that walks in here that I hate serving them because they're just as they're more obnoxious if anything, and they tip. The black people may not have as much money to tip, but they'll leave you something. The white table is just obnoxious, doesn't think they need to tip because there is a superiority complex when it comes to some white people.
Well, where are your worst tippers at? You're looking at white trash, kids.
Rich white people.
Teenagers. Well, when I say kids, teenagers that come into your establishment that are in high school that think they're all balls, no walls. Yeah, they're problematic. And rich white people. Because rich white people are the absolute worst fucking tippers because they will literally sit there on their phone and bring up the calculator and figure out what your 8% is worth when the going rate, and everybody should fucking know this, is 15 to 17%. And they'll type
he tips me over 20, so I can't say, never say anything about him.
You ask anybody at that establishment what I tip.
I'm like, you did me 10 every week, and I don't think your bill's ever been 50.
When I used to go to Smiley's, there was literally girls fighting at the door saying, my table, my table, my table, my table. I helped put a lot, or actually me and my wife helped put a lot of girls through college. Nothing perverted about that at all.
Sounds like you're having a run of porn industry.
Okay. Point is, you tip.
Wow,
we are so fucked.
Wow,
you get one. In 18 weeks, you get one.
Getting you off on a tangent?
You get one. Point is, you walk into a restaurant for the first time. Maybe tip, if you plan on going back there, tip a little more than you expect to do. Because next time you come back and that same girl or guy is there to wait on you, maybe the service is going to be a little bit better. And maybe you'll tip a little bit more. And maybe next time the service is going to be a little bit better. I go and I base myself, me and my wife have numbers in our head. We tip based on those numbers, always. We don't break down percentages. We don't give ourselves bullshit. If it's this, it's going to be that. For the first time. If the next time it doesn't meet expectations, it's not any better, then that number will go down. But usually, 9 times out of 10, because we're really, really good tippers and we understand how hard it is to be in the middle class and paying for the fucking welfare trash to have their free shit all the time and the rich people not to have to pay a goddamn dime regardless, we like to help each other out. Because going to college isn't cheap.
It's not.
Fucking sons of bitches.
See, when I usually go out, I usually tip $5 or 20+%. So, for example, let's say this guy like sandwich was $9. I'm not going to leave someone a 20% tip on that. It's only like $2. I'll leave like 15. I'll leave $9 bill. I'll leave like $15. $5, 15 total, not for the food. And, I usually tip 20% or $5 because still, you took some of your time to take care of me. So
depends on how.
I've had some bad service before. Don't get me wrong.
Well, it depends on how attentive because there's a line. You're either too attentive or not attentive enough.
But if you're sitting at the bar, you want to be bugged.
yeah. I want you up my ass. If I have to do this, it's -$1. It is -$1. I should never have to shake my can. You should know that.
Usually he walks in and his drink's already sitting there. I'm like, hey, Jack, there you go. Just opened it. Jack Daniels on the rocks.
If I don't have to ask,
or chilled.
If I don't have to ask, goes up. I don't want to think. I'm there to have a good time. My thought process goes to zero. We have literally spent 2 hours on 3 topics. Actually, I guess I added Mo Davis to that.
Do you even want to do the? We can just wrap all this up next week. And
we are not going into television right now.
We're not. We can't.
No, there's. No
I have to go to do stuff with my friends to watch the game. I can't wait to do that.
Literally.
Okay, we'll just do our top 10, and we'll.
Oh, we're actually gonna do the top 10.
Yeah, let's do our top 10.
Fantastic.
And we have some that we should have added,
and some we should have forgot.
Yeah, you can go first this time.
Okay. We decided to go with top 10 heroines, movie and TV.
How do you spell Leia? You spell it right?
Leah.
No. That's not how you spell it.
Well, it doesn't matter. It was for my benefit, not their benefit.
It's Leia. That's how you spell Leia.
Whatever. Fuck off.
You fuck yourself.
Point is, heroines, badass bitches in movies, TV, etc. And I chose Celine from Underworld, Pepper Potts from Iron Man, because there's no denying in the third one she is just badass. Ripley from Aliens, seriously, just awesome. Grabbing that loader, crushing that bitch, awesome stuff. RC from Transformers Prime, which was a CGI animated series, really ended up fleshing out the character a little bit. Someone who was little known in the Transformers universe and actually brought her to the front, and boom, here you're in charge. Sailor Moon. Can't forget Sailor Moon. Proved to all little blonde girls with IQs of 60 that you could still save the world if you wanted to.
Maybe really big hair and blue eyes.
Black Widow from the Avengers. She's had 3 movies. She's had a chance to prove herself, which was a stipulation in this, is that there had to be more than one. It couldn't just be one occurrence or appearance. Leia Organa Skywalker from Star Wars. I mean, she proved herself, especially.
Well, if they
really fleshed her out in Empire, I think.
Nah, third one.
Returns where she really came.
Yeah. And if they'd actually played the story after that, when she learned the Force, she was just as adequate at the Force as her father and or Luke.
Adept.
Adequate.
Adept.
Adequate.
Adept.
Adequate.
Adept.
Okay.
I'm right. Lara Croft, who was the Tomb Raider. Angelina Jolie portrayed her in the movies. Maybe she didn't do a good job of portraying her as a role model.
You know what? Have you played the new game?
Rise of the Tomb Raider?
No, the new Tomb Raider game.
Rise of the Tomb Raider?
No, the one.
Isn't that the latest one?
The one that was
360 or the Xbox One?
Maybe. The one that was rebooted. The rebooted one. That's what I'm saying.
No.
Okay, I might have to lend it to your wife because she will love that game. It's rebooted to where like she's not like a rich billionaire's daughter and she has all these gadgets. She's literally on an island. She has to survive, and that's what she gets all of her skills. You are that person. It's awesome, and I wish they'd make a movie about that.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, she's not like the super slutty hot one that looks, Angelina Jolie, amazing, gorgeous, but
I woke up this morning and I hated everything. Hit Girl from Kick-Ass. Just seriously, like if you're looking for that little itty bitty role model, like I literally saw a set of parents. Actually, I can't believe I just said literally saw. That is just terrible English. I saw a girl at a Halloween party, and she was but 10 years old, and her parents let her dress up as Hit Girl. And I thought, you know what, that is quality parenting right there, because they actually sat there with her and explained in context what was going on in this film and how it was make-believe, and they just didn't let her become a shithead. So kudos to them. I actually sat down and had a conversation with them about that. I'm like, are you sure about this choice you made for your daughter? No. We watched the movies with her and we explained everything. And I'm like, thank God. There's rational, normal human beings out there that actually sit there and watch movies and explain shit to their children. In context. I'm just fucking with you, Big Daddy. That's awesome.
What do you want for Christmas? What do you
want for your birthday?
I want like a pony, a puppy dog. I'm just kidding. I want a butterfly knife.
I'm just fucking with you, Big Daddy.
I want a butterfly knife. I got you 2 butterfly knives.
The best. When he's shooting her out in the field.
That's great.
After this, we can go get some ice cream.
And then the start of Kick-Ass 2, whenever she's shooting Kick-Ass with the Magnum or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And my number one in this would have been, regardless of the order it was in, this would have been my number one. Would have been Dr. Samantha Carter from Stargate. Just 10 seasons of her being a great female role model. And if you're going to look to me for someone to look up to, it would be her. Boom sauce.
Okay, Lara Croft, obviously, we just explained why.
Or is it
really the beginning, in video games at least, of a huge, like, really
pitted woman doing...
Oh, sorry. See, now you're
I couldn't help myself.
Now you're off on a boot too.
I couldn't help myself.
No, huge, like, female protagonist, superhero, or like not superhero, but hero, kicking ass, taking names. Her and Metroid are the first two.
Samus.
What?
Samus. Her name is not Metroid. The name of the game is Metroid.
The
Her name is Samus.
Girl from Metroid. Rephrase it. The girl from Metroid.
Samus. I'm that
Okay.
guy.
Yeah, that guy. Katniss Everdeen. Can't explain any more than that. Jennifer Lawrence, a beautiful woman with I have no like makeup. Just don't have to put on any makeup. She's a very pretty girl. She didn't wear makeup the entire well for some of the movie, but for most of the movie when she's in like the arenas in all the Hunger Games movies.
There's something to be said about natural beauty.
There is Lagertha from Vikings. If you've never seen the show, she is the wife of the main character. They get a divorce. She goes to marry someone else. Her Jarl, called a Jarl, like the king. She marries him. He beats her, and she kicks his ass. And she's just badass. She will go get in the trenches with the man and fight. She does not back down from anyone. She's a badass. And she's super freaking gorgeous.
She got a little Valkyrie in her.
She does. Xenon Warrior Princess. One of the first few, like, other than Diana. What's her name? I couldn't think of her name earlier.
Is that her real name, or are you actually looking for the original?
Wonder Woman. Who played Wonder Woman?
Go on about yourself.
The girl who played Wonder Woman.
Go on about yourself. I'll take care of this.
It's gonna pick my brain apart.
I will be fine.
Xenon Warrior Princess. One of the first like female heroines on TV. With whoever, Wonder Woman. Hit Girl, obviously. Hit Girl kicks the shit out of everyone. She could probably kill everyone on this list without even flinching. Peggy Carter, one of my new faves. I love the show. She was the Agent Carter. She's badass. She's one of the in the comic book world. She's one of the first few ever woman superheroes because she was in the 50s, right after World War One. Well, 40s and 50s, World War One or World War Two. I'm sorry. Selena from Underworld. God, Kate Beckinsale in that outfit. My God, you could probably throw in her role in Van Helsing too. If you thought about it.
Barely, but yes.
Alice from Resident Evil. Mila Djokovic. God. Man, God makes too many beautiful women out there. Jesus. Ari from, and not too many, but a lot. Ari from Game of Thrones. She's on the verge of being a little badass. Kill Bill, Black Mamba.
I can't believe you're going with that as your number one.
Huh?
I can't believe you're going Linda Carter.
Oh no, that's Linda Carter. Yes, that's what it was. I knew the Carter was in there somewhere. Kill Bill. That's not my number one. I don't have him in order. I have this model mentioned out there. Leia. I did not mention that. There's a handful. Nikita is another one I did not throw out there.
What about we didn't even bring this up. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the animated series. Ahsoka.
Ahsoka Tano,
yeah. Yeah, that's another good one.
She could show up.
I'm just saying that's a good one. And if Star Wars Rebels doesn't bring Leia in there at some point, they're fucking idiots because that's a great opportunity for them.
Leia's still a baby.
It's that old?
Yeah.
I thought it was like definitely looking toward the middle ground.
Yeah,
not fresh after.
In one of the episodes, remember?
Did you finish, or did I just do that thing that you did to you?
I was gonna throw some honorable mentions out there, but Nikita basically was the only honorable mention.
Okay, because we are heading on 2 hours.
Okay, that's fine. We're almost done. I can't sit around and play chess.
You literally know that we have 0 views in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. Just okay. We'll be okay. In the Star Wars Rebels, like remember at the end of Episode 3 of Star Wars, how they're giving the baby to that guy?
Yeah, Bail Organa.
Yeah, and
Take her
he is in one of the episodes, and he has not aged one bit. And it's literally like it's not even that much later. He actually has a conversation with Yoda.
Well, the Alderaan Empire all but funded the rebellion.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, listen.
Yeah. So it's not that far into it. The rebellion starts shortly after the war ends. This movie is right when the war ends.
Okay, so
The war-
it's that close. I thought.
I'm sorry. The TV show, The Rebels, is right after the wars.
I thought it was a little farther in between.
Leia might be like 5 or 6. But the thing about that is, it can't be that long. Here's why. One of the guys, the main characters, the guy who's captain of the ship, is force sensitive, and he was trained by the Jedi, but he was like a very, very, very young Padawan who never got like the full all-out training, and he was happened to be one of the Padawans that escaped and was force sensitive. So he learned a little bit on how to use the force, but never fully mastered it and was never in tune with it. And there's another kid, I can't think of his name right now. He's trying to train him how to be at least to the level he's at when it comes to the force.
Sensitive to it.
Yes, he's force sensitive. Like he can levitate stuff, and that's basically, and he can kind of anticipate when things are going to happen. So that helps.
His spidey sense is tingling.
Tingle all over. So,
well, internet, we totally denied you what would have been otherwise been an awesome podcast.
Well, if you want to hear
I
two guys,
decided to poke the bear just for shits and giggles.
You know I'm in like a frantic mood because of the game tonight. You know I'm in a frantic mood.
I know, that's so easily. You are so easily distracted when you're like this. It's so much fun.
You're manipulating me.
I am manipulating you.
I'm manipulating.
It was fun for me. I don't know if it was fun for you, but I enjoyed every minute of it, internet.
I'm a dick. He's a dick.
Peace out. Don't hate on my Nate Davis. She's my girl. I love her to death.
America's little black sweetheart.
Don't hate on her.
Don't hate on her.
Don't ever hate on her.
Nope.